All right, welcome back to another episode of the Bean Apple. We are back on the baseball trail. We've been off of it for a few weeks with the draft and everything going on with football. It was been an exciting week and a half or so leading up to that, but here we are back at baseball. We got to catch back up on some things in America's national pastime. So we're going to talk about a little bit here on, of course, the Yankees and Red Sox updates. And Jim's quite happy with what's going on in New York right now because the Yankees they were down in the cellar and they are slowly but surely working their way back up again. So we look forward to hearing kind of what Jim's got to say and how John's going to defend this because that nice big cushion that they had at the top it's dwindling quickly. And then something to think about before we get into it, but watching this Yankees Astros series going on right now, the Yankees fans are letting the Astros have it. I mean, they are really going at it. So
it's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, it sounds so loud, and there's only like 10,000 people there. I wish it was a full house because it echoes through, and maybe it's better that there's not as many. Maybe the emptiness echoes it louder. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's great to hear.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that because we had the discussion earlier today. Is there a more hated team in baseball? Not necessarily right now, that answer is clear, but throughout history, is there a team that's been hated more than the Astros? And recency bias is going to play a role into this, obviously, but there's been some teams throughout history that have some pretty scarred and ugly past. So kind of think over that as we're talking about it. Drop it in the chat when we break into that on who you think the most hated team of all time is and why. And we're going to break that one down here in the second half of the show. But without that, or I should say without that, but with that, let's get into some AL East stuff and talk about this chase that's going on here.
Well, who's in first? I can't remember. Oh wait, it's still the Red Sox. So just like 2 weeks to go.
Barely hanging on.
It looks like the Yankees are back and forth again, because they lost today. And of course you will, Mark, you're a Buffalo fan. But most people will hate Boston fans. I get it. We're the city of champions, baby. We've been winning it forever. I mean, let's face it. What championship haven't we won in the last 20 years?
We've been winning it forever, Boston.
Hold on. Of course we have.
We've been winning it. Is that their slogan? Because I don't remember hearing that before.
It should be.
We've been winning it forever.
Look, the only thing New York has is the Yankees, right? Because the Knicks haven't won shit in forever. The Jets, okay, we can talk about Joe Namath.
Leave me out of it.
The Giants have won 2. So,
2? What do you mean 2?
2 in the last 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. 2 against the Pats. Okay.
Yeah. Shut up. I
mean, 4 in my lifetime.
Look. I'm talking about the city as a whole. As the city as a whole, shit, I'll even say in the last 30 years, who has a city that every team has won a championship? Shit, I'll go last 40 years. Let's go 40 years. Name a city that all their teams have won a championship. Maybe L.A.? I don't know.
I was going to say L.A.
Probably the Kings fall into that. The Kings fall into that back when they had Gretzky. But, I mean, why don't we talk the last 20? Let's count the last 21. Roger Clemens' number. Right, Boston, baby, city of champions. It's title town.
It was a few years ago where you guys had the Celtics won, the Red Sox won,
Bruins
the Pats won, the Bruins won. I mean, so that was the Boston year for sure.
Yeah.
I think
the New England Revolution won. Our soccer team won something.
What about the Sea Dogs? Did the Sea Dogs win?
AA, baby. They're with the Red Sox. That's all that matters.
Did they win that year too?
No. So the other night they lost 11-2. It was brutal. I stayed for the whole thing because I'm gonna stay for opening night. It was a good time. It was. It's fun to watch AA baseball. It is. It's guys are trying to make it. Make it up there. But okay, let's talk this year. Red Sox 19-3 still. So still in first after a couple weeks. We're talking about run differential. They're second or third in the AL behind Chicago and Houston. So they're scoring. They're pitching well. And you know what I like? I had to look it up earlier because I wasn't too sure. Out of the 19 wins, our starting pitchers have 13. I'll take that right now because that is a drastic improvement from last year. 3 pitchers have 4 wins. So 4th and 5th starters are a little rough right now. I get it. But, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. As long as we can stay within arm's reach of everybody, because like we were talking before we even came on, the AL East, even Baltimore's, 1 game under 500. The same Baltimore team who no-hit. Wait, we'll save that one for a few minutes, won't we? The first time since '69 and Jim Palmer.
He said we're going to save it. Just move on.
I'm just saying, a guy named Jim Palmer was the last person to do it for everybody out there in Bean Apple Land.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
Couple pros I'm gonna pull out about the Sox is JD Martinez is absolutely crushing the ball. Him, Bogarts, Devers, Verdugo, that 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 batters, man, are just tearing the cover off the ball. Our pitching is doing well. JD Martinez has 10 home runs now. We're putting up a lot of runs, but we're giving up a lot of runs lately. That kind of worries me a little bit, but that was a big concern going in anyways, was our pitching. So I do like the fact that 3 pitchers have 4 wins. Evaldi, Pivetta, and Rodriguez. So kind of our top 3 pitchers are kind of winning all the games. So Matt Barnes, solid closer, 7 saves, a win, and a 2 ERA. So I'll take that. Dean, I was waiting for somebody to talk about cheating. There's no proof of that this year. Okay,
I didn't even text her. I didn't text her or anything.
That you know what? I smelled somebody was going to write this. Dina, after me talking about how great the Dolphins drafted, I thought we kind of had a thing, but I guess not anymore. A mutual respect between teams, but that's all right. You know what? It's all going to come out in the end of the year when they win the World Series. How did we do it? Nobody cheated. That's what it's going to come out as.
Who's winning the World Series?
I already called it. The Red Sox from the beginning.
What are the odds on that right now? Did you bet on that? You should put some money on it.
I wish I did.
Go on FanDuel or something and put some money on it.
Yeah.
I'd probably win a bunch of money right now.
Shoot down to Foxwoods. Drop $1,000 on it.
I don't have to, man. I got DraftKings right around the corner, my friend.
There you go.
Actually, it's right on my phone. I can bet on sportsbook from there. So
there you go.
No, World Series is a little early. We're still early May. It's only the 6th of May, but I like what I see I like what I see with them. What does scare me is the bats of New York, and Jim, we can kind of segue into you here, but the bats of New York are really starting to liven up a little bit.
That lumber is hot.
What?
It is. It is. But as hot as it gets, those strikeouts can still come. You know what I mean? Yeah. But right now, Stanton, my God, I don't know if there's a hotter hitter, maybe him and JD together. I don't know. But, man, that guy, when he hits the ball out of the park, that's a freaking laser beam, man.
Yeah. You better have your head up when you're in the I don't care who you are on the team. You better be paying attention because it'll knock your head off. That thing is a rocket shot.
Right.
I know.
27th row in the outfield. Watch out. It's coming.
That's right.
Line drive.
Yeah.
Line drive. And you know what I love now? The stat they put up of the exit velocity. At first, I'm like, who cares? But when you start seeing it at 126 miles an hour, can you imagine even catching a ball with a glove on?
No.
Yeah. Right through the webbing.
God, you better hope it hits the webbing. Webbing.
That's right.
It hits you in the palm. Man, that
you
could break some
hope
bones.
A freaking pink hatter isn't out there playing Tommy Texterton. Hey, everybody, I'm in New York. Boom. They're going to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to kill them.
Yep.
But, yeah, so far, I have to be happy with, 32 games into the season. We won today. Again, gave up some runs. We outslugged against a kind of a poor Detroit team, so I can't be too excited. They're 9-25, I think, or something like that.
Terrible.
So, not a good team. We should be beating them. I don't like the amount of runs that we're giving up, but hopefully that changes. Hopefully Sale can come back a little bit early, and hopefully he's the Sale of why we traded him during that World Series run that year, and we won, so that's fine. It's a good trade, and I'm happy with it, but I'm hoping he can come back and be a viable
I hope
part of the 3-headed monster.
What an amazing pitcher he was too. All those years in Chicago and even the beginning there in Boston, just such an awesome pitcher. But that was the one thing on him for years was his delivery. Everybody said issues are coming with the way he pitches, and that's going to be hard. I mean, this is a significant injury he's coming back from, and what's it going to do? Is it going to alter his delivery? Is it going to alter his mechanics to where he can't get that torque and that delivery anymore? Like, that's got to make you nervous as a Red Sox fan. It has to, because that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money that you've got wrapped up into that arm that might never be the same.
Yeah. Money. What concerns me worse is the years. You know, we signed him to a pretty long-term deal. So why they did that when they did, especially they didn't have to at the time. You know what I mean? It would have been nice for the Sox to do that, 5 or 10 years before that with John Lester, when they could have locked him up and then he went to Chicago. But, they did what they did. Something must have told them to sign him and pay him. And, you're paying somebody for future performance, not past performance. And I think they got totally wrapped up in that past performance and didn't really look at what they were going to be getting the next 5 to 6 years. So I don't know. It's kind of like what they did with David Price too. They got a little happy with David Price, and you start throwing $30 million a year at pitchers. Guess what? It's going to bite you in the ass.
That's right. It was a weird investment, and especially like you said for the length, because he doesn't have a big frame. He's got a big frame, but he doesn't have a lot of meat on him. Right? And generating that kind of speed and movement and torque on his body, you knew it was just a matter of time before his elbow, his shoulder, something was going to go, and just a wear and tear. Like you said, over the length of that, is he going to finish the second half of that contract? Probably not. Was it going to be a specialist out of the pen for that much money? Come on. It is a crazy deal, and who are you going to get to take it in a couple of years either? You wouldn't be able to move him. So,
and it's from 2020 to 2024. So, and it's like $30 million a year, something like 27 a year.
You're eating that.
And to be quite honest, baseball payrolls, I used to get all uptight about it, but nobody cares.
No,
you know what I mean? They really don't. Nobody gives a shit what you put. What you pay them, because it's not like football where you pay a quarterback $40 million, and guess what? That's a fourth of your of your payroll for the year, the salary cap. Sorry. So it's not so bad in baseball. They get hit with some taxes and shit, but nobody cares. The teams are making money, so it's irrelevant. So
that's right.
Yeah.
But the years, 5 years,
that's. It's funny because it's not. I remember, except for Dave Winfield, when he got his big contract, I don't really remember a big contract except for one that jumps out at me when it happened, was Carlos Baerga for the Indians. It was like 1990, and they signed him until 1999. And I thought, 1999, meanwhile, it's 22 years ago, but at the time, it seemed like a lifetime before we were going to get to 99. Yeah. And, he was on second base, and he was hitting, and I'm sure he was involved in steroids. He was a big guy at the time. And in the second half of that contract, he didn't keep up. At the end of the year, he was done. Okay. He was done. Yeah. So let's talk about the Yankees. How about that? Want to talk Yankees?
Let's talk Yankees.
Are we going to talk fourth place teams on this show? We can if we have to.
Who's talking about fourth place teams?
We're talking about it.
You just said the Yankees.
A team on the warpath. Team on the warpath right now.
Fourth place. Warpath.
So we played the Orioles. We played the Indians. Destroyed both of them. And then, thank God, we came into the Astros. I wish I was at the game. I wish I would have thought about getting tickets to the game and going, because to hear them booing and yelling and cursing and everything they were doing to Altuve and the rest of the cheaters was great to hear. It's great to hear, and I wish it was a full house, because they deserve it. It bothers me to no end that these guys did what they did and didn't get any penalty. Nothing. Even Hinch, who got fired, He's coaching for the Tigers now. What penalty? Okay, so he's on a team that's going nowhere. But you know, what really happened to him? Nothing. I mean, nothing really happened. So, yeah, I don't know.
Alex, no, we weren't. I'll never be a Yankee fan during anything.
We were all Yankee fans during the booze. Yeah. I don't know.
During the booze, that's good.
But I mean, it was great to see. I mean, we won the first 2 games, and then.
The Yankees were letting the Astros have it. That's what we're talking about in the green room. I mean, they spent like I think I saw a thing. They spent like 10 minutes trying to blow up a trash can just just to heckle them. I mean, they were relentless on the Astros. I mean, and fans have been waiting for like 2 years to let the Astros have it, and nobody's forgotten. Nobody has obviously forgotten what they have done, which is incredible.
How can you forget? How can you? So they're playing the Yankees, who they single-handedly sabotaged and kept them out of the World Series. Yeah. I mean, Altuve hitting the ball. They showed it on the Yankee pregame the other night. I mean, the footage that we talked about last year, with Altuve running the bases, hitting a home run off Chapman, running around the bases. Don't rip my shirt. You can read his lips. Don't. I got the buzz. Don't rip my shirt. I mean, and nothing happens. If this guy ever gets into the Hall of Fame or anything else, I don't understand how there's no penalty. I get they're part of a union. I get it. But if you cheat, you should get some kind of penalty. How is it that you're not? How is it that we talked about Pete Rose. Pete Rose bets on a game, banned for life, banned for everything. Can't be in a Hall of Fame. Can't be. But these guys got caught guilty of cheating. The commissioner told them, turn it down. You can't do it. Can't do it. They just ignored it. Did whatever they wanted. Go all the way. Win the World Series. No penalties. No penalties. How was that possible?
I don't know. Not a single suspension by any of the players that took part in this. They knowingly took part. They knowingly wore a buzzer or knowingly were sending signals to the batters, and not a single suspension. Not even for a game.
Nothing. I mean, put an asterisk, you'll strip the title. There was no champion that year. Like they said, the Tour de France, when Lance Armstrong won every year, they caught him doping, no championship. They took it away. Yeah. So why aren't we doing the same thing now? I don't understand it. I mean, they know they were caught, they were guilty of cheating. They got penalized like $5 billion or whatever. But as far as personal stuff, no, nothing. Keep playing. Oh, and then the Yankees are booing him. They complain to the commissioner that it's a little too much. It's a little too much. This is a little too much. What's happening with 10,000 fans instead of 50,000 because they have an inflatable garbage can? Come on. I mean,
unfortunately, I agree. I don't know if John does, but
of course,
he loves it because it was the Yankees and they lost. That's it. That's all he cares about.
I'm just happy the Yankees lost today. Alex, I'm with you. I do love to see that reaction. I'm just saying I'll never be a Yankees fan, or I'll never admit it. How about that? I can never admit it on the air. Alex, if you want to shoot me a text, but you have to sign a copyright saying you won't share the text that I send you.
It's a non-disclosure.
It's a non-disclosure agreement. No, but if you look at what happened, it was more of the players' union that got all those players off. So, let's be mad at Houston. They cheated. They got caught. I mean, kind of like they said, they got caught red-handed. So, blame the players' union at why nothing happened to the players. They protected them to no ends, even though probably every other team in baseball is going to be pissed off about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, be mad at Houston. I mean, they deserve everything they get, every single thing they get for the next couple of years. Because you're right, this is going to keep going, especially if Houston keeps playing well. You know what I mean? If they keep playing well, regardless if they're cheating or not now, which I'm sure they're not because they already got caught. But if they keep playing well, oh, man, it's going to be even 10 times worse. God forbid they win a World Series.
So what's to stop them from cheating again? What's going to happen? Nothing again? What's to stop them? Well, if I'm every team should just start cheating and say, well, hey, I guess we can do it. I guess because we're in the union, we can do whatever we want because nothing happened to them.
The World Series is still theirs.
Which is wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah,
it's wrong. I mean, so okay, maybe you don't suspend them from baseball or ban them for life or fine them money, but you should take the title away or put an asterisk on it and say, they were found guilty of cheating. At the end, they won the 7th game or whatever. They won the title, but they cheated to do it. Asterisk next to the title, and that's it.
Agreed.
That's it. Oh, MVP asterisk. He cheated. He cheats Judge. Judge hits 52 home runs that year, and this kid, 5 foot, beats him and cheats. But he cheated. I mean, why don't we throw the two of them in a cage match in Madison Square Garden pay-per-view? Why don't we do that?
You have to be careful with that one, Jim, because if Judge loses, man, that would be embarrassing.
Right. Well, maybe he'll electrocute him with his buzzer. Maybe he'll have a taser with him.
Taser on his chest.
God, it's just sick. I mean, but like you said, Stanton's been playing great. So back to what they are doing. I mean, Stanton has been out of his mind. He was batting like 150 a couple of weeks ago. He's up to like 320 now. He's hitting everything like a rocket shot. But at the same time, Judge strikes out 5 times yesterday. So they can never – it's either one's up, the other one's down. They're both down. I haven't seen both of them up yet. I want both of them to be up. And, DJ's down and Hicks is down. And it's just been a struggle. Even the game I went to in Baltimore. I mean, you get like 1 or 2 guys, not a lot of hits, a couple of guys are hitting. But it's not. We haven't got to the point where it's the merry-go-round, where everyone's on, everyone's up, everyone's smashing everything.
I don't think any team. There's not a team in baseball that's doing that right now.
No. Well, I said it. I think pitching has a lot to do with it. A lot of specialists and everything else.
Yeah.
I was just reading that. So real quick, 2 plays I want to talk about. 2 plays I want to talk about. One was. And then we'll get to these, what they're saying here on the side. One was the Odor play at home plate. Did you see that the other night? I think it was last night. So there's a bloop hit over the first baseman, and a couple of Yankees score, and Odor comes running around the bases, and they throw it home. The catcher bobbles the ball. He turns, and Odor hits him with his hyperextends his knee, flies in the air, hits the guy in the face. Both of them are laid out on the – you should watch the play. Both of them get laid out on the field. Both of them are out of the game. Odor had MRIs on the IL. The other guy got, I guess, is in concussion protocol or whatever. But crazy play at the plate last night. And then today, a play I've never seen before. So against the Red Sox, I believe it was, Johnny Damon – stole second on a shift play, and then ran to third because no one was covering third base.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
You remember that? So when that play happened, and Damon slid and stood up and took off, I thought, what the hell is he doing? He's dead. But I couldn't see. The camera wasn't showing. There was nobody on third base because they had the shift on. So today's game, shift again. Gleyber Torres is on first base. Aaron Hicks hits a ball over second base. The shift is on. The shortstop goes to get the ball, hits his glove, and rolls. So Gleyber slides into second. The third baseman's on second. He slides into second, runs past him, and now the catcher runs to third base. So Gleyber's running to third. The catcher's running to third. And the guy on second is still holding the ball for the Astros. Gleyber gets to third and takes off for home, because he's going to outrun the catcher home. So on an infield hit to second base, the guy on first scored.
I can't wait to see that.
You got to see this play. It's unbelievable. I'm watching it thinking, where's he going? Would he lose his mind? He's going to be out, and not knowing because the camera wasn't back far enough to show you where the fielders were. But, I mean, you got to watch the play. I mean, I don't know if you can bring it up now, but it's incredible to see because it's never been done before, as far as I know. A guy hitting an infield single scores from first with no errors.
That's like T-ball. That's like T-ball baseball.
How's it possible? It was like the 8th inning of today's game. You gotta watch it. It's gonna be one of the plays of the week or whatever. Glaber just takes off, runs from first all the way on the bases. Crazy play. Crazy play.
Yeah, let me bring it up.
And to jump on something Alex brought up too. So just like the steroids, Alex, that's why. You know what I mean? Honestly. I mean, people did steroids when baseball needed them. Nobody cared. Yeah. And guess what? I mean, think of the TV deals that came on because of steroids, and it was all because of cheating, if you think about it. So, unfortunately, in sports, you're going to have cheating. You just will. Winning earns money, and winning sells. As long as that's an underlining factor, it's going to continue. I don't condone it, but
yep, you're right. I mean, Alex, you hate that, right? If you're a little league coach now, and your kids are fans of Altuve or whoever, and you see this happen, now what do you say to them, right? I mean, I would rather have seen them, suspended for a year, right?
All right,
the whole team. The AAA's got to come up and play now. Whole team suspended for cheating. What do you got? Show that quick.
Here's your play.
This is crazy.
If it'll work. Come on now.
There you go. Off his glove. Here's Glaber. Gets a second. Takes off. Up. Nobody at third. Up. There's the catcher. Nobody at home. Just
like I said, T-ball, man. Just keep running.
They may show another angle now so you can see what really happened. Here you go. So watch the catcher now. Take off the third. Nobody over there. There goes the catcher.
What's the pitcher doing?
Yeah, sleeping on the mound.
Sleeping, yeah. Wow. That is awesome. That's heads up baseball right there.
How it is. The pitcher,
awesome.
Right? You don't get taught to cover home. I think they tell you that.
Of course you do. Back up home.
But you don't back up home on a infield single with a runner on first.
Right. That's where the shift comes back to bite you, because everybody forgets where they are, and it's not natural, right? It's not a natural move.
I hate with a passion. I fucking hate the shift. Pardon my French, but
I
can't stand it. I hate the shift so much.
Even more now.
I can't stand it. I don't understand. I don't understand how it's even allowed. How you can have a shortstop be a vacant position or third base be a vacant position during the game.
Analytics.
Or have 4 outfielders. You can't have 4 outfielders. So for people to be out of position, I don't agree with it at all. Like, you have to play your position. The shortstop's position is not short right field.
Right,
it's just not. So he has, I don't agree with it. If you want to put the second baseman in the outfield, in right field, fine, go ahead. But the shortstop and the third baseman have to stay on their side of the field. Like, there's just you want to stand behind third base or second base as a shortstop, fine. But you can't stand on second base's side, the second baseman's side of second base. That's not a position.
You can do whatever you want.
You can't have 2 second basemen.
Why?
Because you have to field 9 positions on the field. You don't fill out a lineup card.
As long as you're in fair territory, you can stand wherever you want.
You can't fill out a lineup card with 2 second basemen. Somebody has to play shortstop. Somebody has to play third base.
Right. He's playing shortstop, but he's standing over there.
Then it's not shortstop. Nobody's at shortstop.
Well,
that's the point.
So
I hate it.
We're playing in an era where we're playing 7-inning doubleheaders. A second base, somebody starts at second base during extra innings. God, what else? Name it with some of those rules that are coming up.
Yeah.
They're trying to get people to like baseball. Right. And Johnny Muck asked me a little while ago,
I hate it.
What did more for baseball, steroids or the new era ballparks? Initially, probably the new era ballparks. But then in 94, they went on strike, right? So it killed baseball for a while. Then everything came back again. Why? Because of steroids. I think we talked about this a couple shows ago too. For baseball, I mean, McGuire and Sosa breaking in on every news channel.
Yes.
For when they were at bat, my God, everybody stopped and watched it.
Right.
Old people, young people, men, women. It didn't matter, man. It was absolutely mad. I'm going to agree with you. Roids built baseball.
Yep.
Couldn't agree more.
The Bond Sosa thing was like broadcasted in Times Square when they were going in. I mean, the world stopped when they were coming up to bat.
And two guys roided out and one guy with a metal rod in his bat. You know what I mean? And no one said anything. Nobody said anything. No. So
I mean, it's different rules. I mean,
it is, man, and it's just crazy, crazy.
Yeah. But still, putting the shift on just hurts the offense.
Yes, of course. That's what. So
which is
so I am a fan of the shift. I am a fan of. If you tell me this guy can't hit the outside pitch, I'm going to throw the outside pitch until he hits it. But if he can't hit the changeup, I throw the changeup all day long. So if I know he only hits to the right side, I'll put all my infielders over there because that's all the guy can do. Until he figures out how to go the other way, it's about continuous improvement, right? I mean, so you got to defend. You don't want him getting on base. So if that means the guy, his power is only to the infield. Bring in the outfielders. Put all the guys. Make a wall from second to first, and he's never going to get on base because until he realizes I got to go the other way and I got to learn how to hit to the opposite field. That's what it's about. To me, I think I love it. I think you do what you got to do to get the guy out, and if shifting is in your favor to get him out, then that's what you do. It's up to the batter now to figure out, or the hitting coach to say, we got to teach you a different way to hit now. That's how I look at it. I look at it as
you should. If you hit it to one side of the field or the other, and you beat the guy that's at that position, then you beat him. That's the point. Is not load up every single player on the field, take the catcher out from behind home and stick him out at first base to add a little. Like no, if you're a dead pull hitter to right field. If the first and second baseman can't stop the ball, then you beat them. That's your objective. But to have the entire field shift over there and you have to beat 9 players, that's ridiculous. Like that's not okay.
It's within the rules. It's not against the rules.
It shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying.
But if you know the guy got up 600 times this year and 200 times that he hit the ball, it went between short and third.
Yeah.
That's all he does is short and third. Okay, then put everybody over there.
No, then position your guys to where he hits it most. Your shortstop or your third baseman. If you know he goes right behind it, shift your shortstop over, play your third baseman off the line a little bit more, and try and stop him. But the batter should have just as fair of an opportunity to get on base as he does to get out. And when you load one side of the field or the other, you change that dynamic, and it makes baseball worse because nobody wants to watch a 3-hit baseball game.
Right, but that's where so they're professional hitters, right? They're professional hitters. They're supposed to know how to hit the ball and how to punt and how to go the other way and how to go deep or short or whatever. That's what they're supposed to do. So if you're supposed to scan the defense and see where they're at, and then, like Yogi Berra say, hit them where they ain't. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. Right?
Yeah,
and they don't do it.
That's a different baseball, though. Yogi Berra is a different baseball than it is today. Today is about the long ball, and you cannot place the ball where you want when you're swinging for the fences. That's what you're paid for. They're paying players to hit the ball over the fence, not to bat 350. They want 40, 50 home runs, not 350 and 2 home runs. Like you just
but not every player. Like Odor is a dead pull hitter. I would, like my sister saying there, I would lay down a bunt down third and walk to first. Next time I'm up, do it again until they stop doing it. When I'm up, then I can pull it through the guys like I used to. But right now, I have to make an adjustment and go the other way. And I'm just going to stick the bat out, slap it down third, slap it down third, slap it down third, until they realize, okay, I better get a guy over there.
Yeah, that's if you're that good of a bunter. If not,
well, you're a professional player.
You still have to beat the pitcher. You still have to beat the pitcher. And if you're not fast, you're not going to beat out a bunt.
That you could still hit it the other way. I mean, Stan
can't
start hitting it the other way. Well, then they should go home and call up another guy. That's it. Learn how to do your job, right? I mean, come on. What does Belichick say? Do your job.
Do your job. You know what? When the third baseman's playing it short, you drop a bunt down the third baseline. Guess what? You're going to be a little bit more reluctant to have that third baseman not playing in.
Well, not if the pitcher's getting a free out every bunt. I mean,
yeah, but then they won't be bunting every play.
Well, yes, they will. Like if you bunt 3 times in a row, trying to get out of the shift, and the pitcher grabs it and throws you out at first on 3 straight pitches.
Yeah, but
What
no
are you
one's
gonna
going
do?
to try and bunt 0-2. 0-2, you shouldn't be bunting. I mean,
No,
that's
if you bunt on the first pitch, it rolls back, pitcher runs over, grabs it, guns you out at first. Next pitch, bunt, pitcher grabs it, throws it out. I mean,
look, I was 13 years old and I could place a bunt wherever I wanted, and I wasn't a good hitter. I wasn't. I was not. But guess what? Everybody on our team, you can ask Muck. Me and Muck played on the same team for 6 years, Johnny, senior and big league. Everybody on the team knew how to bunt. And you know what? Before you even swung a bat during batting practice, you had to lay down like 5 good bunts. And they would tell you first base, second base, center.
Yeah. But you could go.
That's where you'd have to line them up.
It's easy to go in that direction. But if you're going for a base hit and you're trying to drive it down the third base line to get past the pitcher, that's different than just a directional.
You don't even have to get it past the pitcher.
You
do. No, you don't. You want to put it between the pitcher and the catcher, because then they're never going to get you out. If the third baseman's playing short, you drop it right between the pitcher and the catcher in the middle. Man, shit, I could walk to first base. I could walk to first base. You could put it there. Thank you, Johnny.
The catcher's going to come right out, grab it, sidearm it to first, and you're done. Like, major league catchers can do that all day.
Hey, it doesn't need to roll to the bag. It doesn't need to roll the bag. It needs to roll probably between the pitcher and the catcher.
Halfway.
Yeah, I'd say halfway. Right between the two. And I'm sorry, a 98-mile-an-hour pitch, all you got to do is get wood on
Just
it. That ball's
it.
flying off the pad. I mean, I used to, hey, Johnny Muck, the Black Magic, baby. What was it, 32-inch? 15 to 23 hits came on him. He's not lying. That's the worst part.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it's fundamental baseball, man. It's fundamental baseball, and they just don't do it so they can afford to do shifts. I don't care for it, but I think it's funny when Big Pappy used to beat the shift. I loved watching that. Yeah, I did. I loved it.
But how many times did he get out versus beating the shift?
Probably more than he beat it. But you know what he should have did? He should have learned to hit it to left field.
Hey! What the hell am I talking about? Yes, that's what I've been saying.
Should have learnred to hit it to left field.
Yes.
But that's
all he had to do a couple times.
No, that doesn't change the argument that he beat the players he was supposed to beat. He beat first and second.
But he didn't.
Yes, he did.
So it's
did the first baseman or the second baseman catch those balls in the shift?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
Probably,
but
sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Without any help from the shift. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, a quarter of the times he hit it right to where the first baseman or second baseman was normally.
And that's how it should be. If they position themselves in the right spot and they get the ball that he hits, the first or the second baseman, great. He's out. The defense won that matchup. But if you've got the shortstop playing in shallow right field and throws him out at first because he beat both of them, how is that now a fair advantage? I mean, analytics are a huge part of baseball, and I can't undersell how much analytics mean to the game today. Even I was listening to, which was hard after the Mariners thing, they had Jerry DiPoto on ESPN radio this morning, and I was listening to that, and he was talking about the rookies are struggling right now. Almost the entire Mariners team offensively is struggling, but they're talking about like when rookies come up now, and we've got these guys going into year 2 with Kyle Lewis and Ty France, and these guys, now people have seen them, and he's like, how much is it now that a player has to now adapt again to baseball? So you get called up as a rookie and you adapt to major league pitching, and then you have to readapt to the changes that they make when they figure out what you can and can't hit. And he said nowadays, as opposed to 20, 30 years ago, they know more about a player coming up in single A than they did about a guy coming into the majors 30, 40 years ago. Like they know exactly the day you walk in that clubhouse as a major league player, they know what you can hit, what you can't hit, what your weaknesses are and everything. So it's just, the analytics are so overpowering right now that you have to help the hitters a little bit, I think. Like they already know what you can hit as a pitch. And then when you hit the pitch, now you've got to battle through 6 people to get on base. And to me, at what point, and I'll look at how defensive baseball has become. Look at the run differentials we were talking about. 19 out of the 30 teams today are at 0 or below or negative in run differential. Nobody can score because they know what you can hit. They know what you can't hit. They know where to position all the players. And there's no scoring in baseball. Nobody wants to watch no scoring in baseball. We probably have more people watching this show right now than are watching baseball games because they're so boring. So what do you do? What do you do to bring the hitting back? Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa brought baseball back because they were hitting 60 home runs a season. Yep. That's what people want to see.
Yep.
And now we can't get a base hit because you've got to go through 5 players just to get on first. So,
yep. I mean, you're right. And you're right. I mean, so again, it goes back to continuous improvement, right? So the goal is to get the guy at the plate out. So the more you know about him, so the scouts watch him, right? When they're scouting the kids in high school, and you know the kid can't hit the changeup, he swings at the high ones, he does this, he does that. And then you play to his weakness, right? You pitch to his weakness. You do everything you can because your goal is to get him out. Yeah. So they should. I mean, they should be going out and finding out what the kid could do. And then if the team that signs him knows he can't hit the changeup, they got to work on him to hit the changeup because he can hit every fastball you throw at him, but he can't hit the curve. Then you got to work on the curve. I mean, that's how to me it works. That's what the hitting coach's job is.
I'm not arguing that they should only be throwing fastballs. Like, if you get a hit and you beat the positions that are on the field, it should be a hit unless the right fielder throws you out. By all means, then you deserve to be out. But if he throws you out at first before you get there, then you're the Yankees and you're lollygagging down the first baseline. But right. otherwise, if you beat the first and second, or you beat the shortstop and the third baseman and it goes through the hole, there should not be another infielder standing in that hole waiting for the ball. I don't agree with that. He should have to stay on his side. Now, if the shortstop wants to play directly behind second base and the second baseman wants to shift over, that's fine. The shortstop is still on his side of the base. But
what if the center fielder played right behind second base because the kid has no power? What if the outfielders all moved in and are they
still on the grass?
On the grass, but right at the lip where the shift guys stand.
Yeah.
So the guy, when they shift around, and one guy, it's a triangle, right? So the shortstop will swing around. He's out before in front of the right fielder. So to me, it's no difference if you just call all the outfielders up. So everybody play up because this kid can't hit out of the infield. Everybody play up, and we have 7 guys in a half moon.
Right.
It would be the same thing.
But you still have somebody in all their original positions. There's still 3 outfielders, even though they're playing extremely shallow. They're still there. And then on the other side, if he hits it over your head, that's an inside the park home run.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's a softball thing. And if they burn you, you're running all the way to the fence chasing that ball, and it's extremely embarrassing. But you do see that in softball, but you don't see shifts in softball. You have to play your positions.
Right, because they already have a short fielder, whatever you call it.
Yeah, you have a rover on top of it. Yeah, so right. I don't know. I don't agree with it, but we'll see. I think there'll be changes coming because you have to improve the offense in baseball. You can't have, especially coming out of the pandemic, you cannot have this low-scoring games every night. It's just like...
Right. Well, I mean, so then why don't they make the pitchers go longer, the starters? I mean, because the big difference with when we grew up to now is guys pitched a complete game. So when you were the batter, you faced the guy 4 times normally, and then maybe the closer came in. Right? Yes. Now you get 4 at-bats, you have 4 different pitches, right, left, straight, knuckleball, whatever. I mean, so you never get like, oh, next time I get up, I got to remember he does this. No, now it's another guy. Every time you get up, it's another guy.
Right, and that's where the analytics are ruining baseball.
Yeah, lefty. I mean,
and that's another, like with the Mariners again. Like they've got injuries like crazy. Paxton's down, Marco Gonzalez is down, but yet they're still holding a 6-man rotation. And I think only 3 times or 4 times has a starting pitcher, made it to the 7th inning this season. Which is, you have a 6-man rotation. You won't let your guy go 7 innings. He's got an extra day of rest on top of what he was traditionally pitching, and he can't throw. He can't throw 7 innings. I don't like it at all. Like, you're a starting pitcher. You should be able to get 7 innings every single time.
Yeah.
You should be able to go 7. You bring in a reliever for the 8th. You bring in your closer for the 9th. It's done. You put it to bed. That's I know it's not going to work that way every single time. You're going to get roughed up sometimes, but we're not seeing these 7-8 inning games except for yesterday in Seattle, which.
So kind of like Matt said, slap the ball. Don't bunt, slap the ball. You're trying to tell me that these guys have, 1 point something seconds to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I mean, that's probably the best eyesight. Baseball players have to have the best eyesight in all sports. And we're talking about a shift shouldn't be right. Man, how about the hitters adapt? Why don't they slap the ball? Why don't they go the opposite way? I mean, I was never good enough to do it. My brother could. My brother went I mean, God, that kid could hit the left field all day long. He was a left-handed batter. Look at Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez could take an inside-out pitch and still blast it to friggin' over the right field wall in Fenway, and it was off his hands.
Edgar, Ichiro.
Edgar, God, yes, Ichiro. I mean, you look at these guys, Ken Griffey Jr., they didn't ever play the shift on him. Why?
No.
Because he had as much power to right field as left field. You know what I mean? Yeah. So teach the hitters.
Thanks, Mark.
Yes.
They catch on after a while. After a while, it gets through.
No, Jim, I've been on your side the whole time. I mean, that's why I talked about the bunting, but I seen Matt throw up slap hitting. Okay. You want to take away the bunt? Throw in a slap hitter, just like Matt said. I mean, the girls do it all the time in softball. Chop that bat, instead of friggin' trying to hit for the fences, hit for third base. Because guess what? If that third baseman and everybody's moving towards right field, you put it down the left field line. Again, you don't even need to get it to the wall. Get it halfway between third base and the left field wall, and you probably get yourself an easy double.
Yep.
So
really,
I'm going to agree with Jim here.
Very good. So like Matt's saying there, maybe what happens now going forward here is there's not these big monster home run hitters anymore. It's utility guys that can hit all over the field. Everybody's slap hitters. It's just not power guys, just on base guys. A lot of hits, a lot of singles, doubles, and that's it. And that scores the runs, and then everyone's back to their regular positions. Because, they're not shifting for everybody on the team. They're just shifting for 2 or 3 guys per team that are dead pull hitters, right? It's not like they're dead opposite field hitters. They're only dead pull. So once you change that, then it goes back to normal, I think.
It would. Or it should.
See. I mean, there's got to be an evolution.
Yeah.
Well, you beat
the shift, and then the shift goes away. That's what happens.
Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Speaking of great hitters, what do you guys think of the end of an era with Albert Pujols with the Angels?
So I think that goes in line with exactly what we're talking about. So is that why his decline has happened? Because he couldn't adjust? He's such a dead hitter that he can't hit anymore. He can't hit to opposite field. I mean, I get it. He's 47 and a half, I think, but maybe that has something to do with it. But the Yankees will call him tomorrow. He'll be in New York soon. We'll put him between Judge and Stanton, and we'll use him here. No,
it's crazy to think of. And for me, I mean, you think of first baseman, and he's the bad thing is like when you think of Albert Pujols, it seems like so long ago that he was one of the best, probably, I think arguably the best player in baseball when he was with the Cardinals. I mean, was that 2006 probably time frame?
The machine.
And it was so long ago. He was unstoppable. He went to the Angels, and he's been on a steady decline for the better part of a decade now. But if you look at looking at the stats, like he's still in WAR. He's behind Gehrig, but his WAR is still a 99.4 to Gehrig's 114, which is insane. He's been bad for years. I don't want to say bad, but he hasn't been Pujols. He still has a 99 WAR. That is incredible. Yeah. Just to think about what his WAR was back then, and now, that it's still a 99 is crazy. But
so when Pujols left St. Louis, can we all agree that was probably one of the worst things that he ever could have did?
Yeah.
I mean, in 11 years he hit 440 plus home runs. I get it. He got a 10-year. Was it 250 at the time?
I think it was.
And this was back in 2011, so it was unheard of at the time to get that deal. But quite honestly, the second he went to the Angels, you never heard from him again. And I agree with you, Joe. He's been quiet since, but he went to a bad Angels team, man. That team wasn't good. I mean, St. Louis is contending every year, and you can't even pronounce friggin' half the guys' names because you don't know who they are. They just somehow are always good. So Pujols leaves St. Louis, where he's loved, the city that loved him. I'll tell you what, that sucked when he left because he should have finished his career in St. Louis. I get it. I mean, I don't think I could probably pass up $25 million a year either for 10 years. I get it. But man, the second he went to St. Louis, he was a forgotten man. I'm sorry. Yeah. The second he left, he was a forgotten man. And it's not because of his numbers. It's just because, maybe a combo, his numbers and friggin' he played on the Angels. It's a West Coast team. I mean, it's just, yes, the Angels have a long history of great players. They just haven't won. I mean, when was the last time the Angels won anything?
No, and they have
Never.
now arguably, without a doubt, the best player in baseball for the last 10 years with Mike Trout.
He couldn't even help him. He couldn't even help. And Johnny Muck, St. Louis. I mean, behind the Yankees, St. Louis has the most World Series, I want to say. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just sucks that he left St. Louis because, man, you think of Pujols. Honestly, the first thing I think of, Joe, when you said that, was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when I heard of Pujols. I mean, it was fun watching him. I loved watching him.
Right.
Then he goes and he goes to the Angels, and man, it's just sad. That's why I'll tell you what, if old boy can get out of the Angels himself and get on a team like St. Louis or the Dodgers or shit, even San Diego now, the Red Sox, the Yankees, some team that he can be relevant for the last half of his career. Because, I mean, I'll tell you what, if he stays in the Angels his whole career, I mean, we're going to talk about his numbers, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I'm looking at a pool of 667 home runs.
Yeah.
And it's really, you would think, pretty quiet. A pretty quiet 667. Everybody knows how good he is. But when you think about 606, I mean, 445 on the Cardinals, 222 on the Dodgers, on the Angels. Sorry, 11 years and 10 years. 10 years with the Angels. Right. But half the amount of home runs with the Angels. I mean, it's crazy. Just couldn't do it.
It's sad. It was sad, actually, to watch him leave. And I remember when he left, he had that heartfelt goodbye to St. Louis. And it's like, man, you just sold your soul. You really did for money. And again, I get it. If somebody,
it's a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
it is. And maybe except for the Yankees. Actually, I probably would go play for the Yankees for 10 years. Shit, probably $5 million. Okay.
I would play for the Patriots. I'd play for the Patriots. I'd be a Patriots fan for the rest of my life for $240 million. Not even 10 years. Every single year of my life left. You pay me that money. I'll root for whoever you want.
I just have a feeling that St. Louis would have eventually paid him. I mean, they would have eventually. I mean, the guy had over 440 home runs there in friggin' 11 years. Why?
Right.
Man,
even if they gave him a 10-year, $150 million contract.
I'm really curious what
You're winning. You're still
what they
winning.
offered him. Let me see what Albert Pujols was offered.
Kurt Warner's wife. What am I missing there? The greatest show on turf. She was involved with that.
I don't know. Matt, the historian.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
You're gonna have to fill it. What happened? I don't know what happened with that one, but I don't. How much money do you need? And that we've had this conversation. Like where do you balance winning with money? Is $150 million not enough money for a single person? I mean, you could stay in St. Louis where you're a legend for $100 million less. You still have made money prior to that. And you're going to add and this is literally spitballing because I have no idea what it was, but just say $150 million. That's how is your life Did they offer him more?
Okay, so I'm reading this right now because I didn't know. So his wife gave an interview right after he signed. So the Angels, he signed a 10-year, $254 million, no deferred money, as well as 10-year personal services contract following that deal. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll Google that after. The Cardinals, their last ditch effort was 10 years, $210 million with $30 million deferred. So it's probably like a Bobby Bonilla type thing. Yep. So now I'm reading this a little bit more.
So for $10 million,
and that wasn't enough.
He left.
Come on,
$10 million difference.
Well, no. So $30 million deferred out of the 210s. So I'm assuming it was 10-year, 180. So you're talking,
still
70 million, 74 million, but 30 million of it deferred. Now, the Cardinals' initial offer was 5 years, 130. So, okay, 120 million, I get it. But, man, you get to almost 40 million, and I don't know. I don't know what I would have done, to be quite honest. I don't know.
5 years, 140? Like that's not enough?
I mean, the Angels wish they did that now.
Yeah.
I mean, not when somebody's offering you 10 years, 250. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not turning down $120 million. No. I'm not saying you should have, but I'll tell you what, the last one for 210 for 10 years. Okay. I'm giving up 44 million. All right. That's a lot of friggin' money, but you know what? So is 210.
Right. Like what can you do? You're never going to
spend it. Come on.
What can you do with 210 that you can't do? Or, what can you do with 240 that you can't do with 210? You're going to live your life. You're going to live every second of your life the way you want to with either one of those paychecks. Mm-hmm. So why not stay where you're a local hero, a legend in an absolute baseball town on a team that's full of history and everything. And you're now one of those pieces and you walk away for that. And if you're talking Bobby Bonilla stuff there, you take that 30 million and defer it over 20 years, and now it's $100 million.
Yes,
that you're getting paid.
Exactly. So
do you need that much money up front?
And you
got people to pay off.
I mean, Alex, I was just going to say that the taxes alone is insane out in California. The houses alone are insane. Mm-hmm. Everything is insane. So you probably would have saved that 40 million just off cost of living alone.
No doubt.
I don't know. It's just unfortunate. Again, he had his reasons. Maybe he wanted to live in California. I don't know. Maybe that's what he wanted.
Yeah. Well, like my sister was saying, I was going to bring up the Cano thing. I want to say, and I'm not looking at that, the Yankees offered him like 210. And Joe, you probably remember. And I think Seattle countered with 240.
Yeah.
And then he went. And it was like 210 wasn't enough for you? You want to go to Seattle and never win again? Okay, go then. I mean,
turns out it
30 more million, and now then he gets busted twice, right? That's great.
Yeah, look, it's looking like it's still going to work out for Seattle because luckily they were able to trade him for Jared Kelenic, who looks like he is going to be an absolute superstar in this league. But so it looks like the Mets got stuck holding the check on that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. They got him now. I mean, he's not even playing now, but
no, he's suspended for the season.
Just a waste. What
a
waste.
Bust. Yeah,
what a waste. He could have been a Yankee for life.
Yeah, well, he would have been suspended for the.
No, he wouldn't have done stupid stuff, I don't think. But you know what happens in Seattle?
Coffee and grunge music? I don't know.
Not winning baseball teams, Jim. Not winning baseball teams.
We got to
know that.
Man. I don't think
know
that would help. So. All right, so let's round it out. We're supposed to talk about the most hated teams other than the Astros. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's circle back to that before we close this thing out. So, for the fans, you've had now 59 minutes and 46 seconds to think about this. So, what do you guys think? Like the Astros are. The hate is kind of an understatement, right? To say like what people feel, the fans feel for the Astros right now. We talked about it, but you look back and we were talking about it prior to you obviously have the 1919 Black Sox who admitted to throwing the World Series, which they don't exist anymore, but now they've carried over to the White Sox. You've got, and we talked about this, the 2007 Yankees during the steroid scandal with Clemens and Pettit and Giambi and A-Rod, all these guys that came out being, suspected of, but not admitting to using steroids. So that was a huge thing too. This whole team that was basically bought and muscled up, and obviously you didn't win anything that year, but still just talking about teams that are hated. What do you guys think? I mean, you got some Red Sox teams that were hated throughout the years. I don't remember personally, but I don't know what the Reds looked like after Pete Rose and that whole scandal went down. If the team took any heat for it or anything like that. But what are you guys' thoughts?
So it's easy for me to say a bunch of teams who I growing up hated. But, thinking about what's happening right now. So, yeah, I hate, for Alex, I hated the Royals in the 70s because they were a great competition for the Yankees. We played them all the time in the playoffs, and you hated them. You wanted to beat them. Hated the Red Sox for the same reason. Hated the Big Red Machine, the Cincinnati Reds for the same reason. But you hated them because they were good, right? You hated them because they were good. It wasn't about cheating. It wasn't about anything they did wrong. You just hated them probably because they weren't on your team. Yeah. But this is a whole different thing. So, the Red Sox, even when they had the idiots, right? So you hated the Red Sox then, and they all grew their beards out like I'm doing here and all that stuff. And you hated them, and you wanted to beat them and hold them down, especially when didn't win yet. But the Astros, to me, are just a whole other thing. The cheating is, I can't think of anyone, any other team that comes close to the Astros.
Interesting. Not even the Black Sox. Not even.
So
not Pete Rose and that whole scandal.
Black Sox got penalized, right? Those guys, Shoeless Joe Jackson, right? Wasn't he on the team? Those guys
never got to play again.
That's it.
Yeah,
they
never
couldn't play
again
anymore. So they paid their penance, right? So to see these guys still playing and then complaining that the fans are giving it to them too much. Come on. I mean, what? No, I don't buy it. I mean, they should be stripped, and they're going to be hated for a long time by everybody in baseball, not just the Yankees and the teams they beat to. Just like I think about the Dodgers. I'm sure if they get to play the Dodgers again, when Kershaw got in and gave up back-to-back home runs, and it comes in relief, and like one pitch home run, next pitch home run. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just
just as bad as the Chapman experience.
Yeah, I mean, Chapman was laughing on the mound. Like we knew they were doing it. He throws him a changeup, and Altuve hits the ball out. I mean, come on. It's just I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to come up with some other team that I hated for some reason, and right now I don't have it.
I mean, Dina says every Red Sox team, so every year. So I mean, she's already kind of forgiven the Astros a little bit.
I don't know if she forgave the Astros, but
so
come on, John.
So for me, I mean, to me, it'd be really easy to say the Yankees. You know what I mean? It really would, because of all those years that we just couldn't get past them. I mean, it was just frustrating. Joe, you brought up with the 07 Yankees. My God, I didn't care for them. But so I started thinking about when I was a kid, what team hurt me the most? What team hurt me the most? So I'm going to go back to 86. Yes, I'm going to go back to 86. Because I still see, when I think about 1986, all I can think about is Ray Knight rounding third as he grabs his helmet. I got goosebumps even saying it, because every time I see it, it just makes me sick. And then Calvin Schiraldi blowing it. It was just the Buckner play. I mean, yes, what the Astros done, it's terrible. Cheating is terrible. I get it. I mean, we could talk about the steroid era. That was a bad time, but it really wasn't. It was a great time. Sorry, I'm not calling the steroid era bad, because that was some of the funnest baseball I've ever watched in my life. So, hey, that is what it is. Crucify me if you want, but I'll gladly go back to watching that shit. I really will. Is it good for the kids? No. But if you're raising your kids to idolize and want to be like everybody they see on TV or in sports, man, you're probably doing something wrong there anyways. But I got to say the 86 Mets, man, they absolutely crushed my soul as a kid. I mean, I cried. I was 15 years old. My uncle had a Slovakia sub. He was hammered on the couch, threw it against the TV. The sub explodes. If you don't know what a Slovakia sub is, go to any Greek sub shop, and it's filled with everything. And it just exploded in my living room. Oh man, it was just so it was crushing. Just crushing to watch. I mean, I'm reliving this like I'm sitting there because
God, I could just picture that. Picture that explosion.
Boom, the sub goes everywhere.
Just olives everywhere.
I got tears in my eyes, and I'm just in shock.
Me too.
Sitting there like, what happened? And Ray Knight running over third. It's just so brutal. Buckner looking at his glove. Don't look at your glove, man. It wasn't the glove. All you had to do was fall on the ball and roll over. We would have won. So, yes, the Astros right now, but the team that absolutely devastated me was the Mets, man. Just crushed my soul. And part of it is still crushed. I lost part of my soul when I was 15 years old, and I'll never get it back.
Wow.
I'll never get it back.
I mean, it's got to be bad for you because in the 80s, the Yankees were terrible. They didn't do anything in the 80s. Yes. And here's Boston's chance and a different team from New York.
Right.
Wow. I mean, it's like, oh, we got it. We made it. We beat the Yankees. And then the Mets, of all teams who, like the Jets, never make it, the Mets beat them. Oh, my God. And wait, in the turn of events, because that was only game 6.
Yeah, it was game 6. That was game 6.
Everyone thinks that's when it happened, when Buckner blew it. The Mets won, especially because of the celebration. But there was another game after that, like you said, with Schiraldi. So
it was just and the Mets were good, man. They had Gooden, they had Strawberry, they had Lenny Dykstra. They had, of course, Mookie Wilson, who had Jesse Orozco. I mean, that guy was friggin' lights out as a reliever, man. John Franco was the closer. It was just
Gary Carter, right?
Gary Carter behind. It was Johnny. It was just, it was just, wow. I hate even talking about it. It's still, my soul is gone.
You guys had the lead in game 7 too?
Yes. Oh, Alex, it does, man. I mean, honestly, that hurt worse than the undefeated Patriots season to me. Probably because I was so young, and for 15 years I was a Red Sox fan. I used to keep the book sitting at home, listen to the radio. Yeah, those son of a bitch Mets. I'll never like them, never.
And actually, it's funny. I don't remember seeing any footage. I can't picture any highlights of Game 7 except for, I think it was Jesse Orozco throwing a glove up in the air at the end of the game, right? I think he closed the game out.
He did. He closed it out. But Franco, or is it? No, you're right. It was Orozco.
Orozco threw the ball.
That's right, with his left hand. And
yeah, I can't remember. 3-0 lead and how they came back. I have no memories of any of that. Just the final, when he struck out whoever it was, probably Yaz, because Yaz always made the out at the end. Right, against the Yankees, he made the out in the playoff run.
Oh, yeah. 86 Mets, man. By far my most hated team ever.
Yeah. I think it's hard for the Astros not to hold the crown for just generalized hatred. I don't know if that's going to go away probably till all these guys retire, and Bregman's and Correa are very early in their careers, but Springer as well. Like that, they're going to be forever linked to that, no matter what they do, or no matter how far away they sign, even if it's up in Canada.
There you go.
But man, I mean, for me, the 97 Indians, I think, or the 95 Indians. That team. Well, both actually, but
97, Sandy Alomar hit the home run against Mariano.
No, not for you guys. For the
I'm talking about for me. I just felt something hit in the side here.
Yeah.
The 97 Indians. Yeah, that's right.
Well, actually, the Indians got us twice. 2001 too. We lost to them.
Yeah.
That was tough. So for me, like I could never root for the Indians ever. I love Major League, and that's as far as my love for the Indians goes. I cannot root for that team after two. And the team was. I mean, you got the Kenny Lofton years, which God, he was outside his mind playing so damn fast. But yeah, losing to the Indians twice in the playoffs. That's tough. So yeah, I feel you, John. I could never root for an Indians team because of that. Like, there's some players on there. I mean, I respected Lindor and Jose Ramirez.
Shit, they had Tomey, they had Alomar. I mean, they had that team was nuts, man.
Juan Gonzalez, he was the Yankee killer. He hit the Sandy Alomar. Yeah, they had some play. Baerga was on the team.
Carlos Baerga,
probably Jim Tomey.
Albert Bell, I think, was
on third. Right, Tomey, I think, was playing. Part of that. Yeah, they were a tough team. They were a tough team.
Yeah, and it sucks. So yeah, twice we had to run into that. It was like the Knicks and the Bulls. Like the Knicks had some good teams back in the 90s, and Ewing could never get past Michael Jordan and
Detroit. It was.
Damn.
I'm rewatching The Last Dance, and it's on the episodes again where Chicago's playing New York, and poor New York, man, what a team they had, because they were identical to the Pistons. After the Pistons had their run, they were just as dirty, as hard, and man, Jordan just owned them. I mean, Jordan just
couldn't do it.
Nope, it was a shame. But yeah, so the Astros reign supreme then, overall, outside of personal biases.
I mean, so one last question, and I think we can talk about this next show because we're going long. What would happen if any of those guys try leaving the Astros? What team is going to sign them?
Springer did.
Right.
Yeah, some guys true.
But he hasn't played yet this year. He's been hurt.
Right. He hasn't played yet. So, but I'm talking say Altuve. Will the Yankees sign him?
No chance.
That's what I mean.
I think there's only a few guys. Because, Chirinos, the Yankees signed. He was a catcher. They got Garrett Cole, right? So
Garrett
I think that's move around. But I think it's
came to manage the Sox,
Altuve and Bregman are two of the bigger ones, right? Bregman was like, the MVP and strutting around and in the dugout every time, hitting everything. I think they were probably the two leaders. I mean, Correa too. He's still on the team, right? Your buddy John, Carlos Correa, John's buddy.
That's my coworker.
Oh, I thought it was John's buddy.
No.
Oh no, he's a Pats fan. That's why.
He's just a Pats fan.
He's a Pats fan from Jersey City. Makes no sense.
I love it.
I saw Carlos Correa comment there. I'm like, oh wow, we got some All-Star. We got some Major League players watching the show. Good. That's great.
Yeah, start banging on the trash can.
Yeah, there you go. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think those three could ever leave Houston.
No.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised anybody took a shot with Springer because he was a big face of that team too. But yeah, those three are kind of synonymous with.
He wasn't that cocky though. You're right. You're right. He wasn't that cocky. You take a look at Altuve. Yeah, you're right. I mean, kind of the people that kind of really threw it in the faces of everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe some guys knew what they were doing and didn't want to be a part of it. And but couldn't, like Mike Fiers, right? He's the one that blew the whistle on it. But maybe there were some guys that were not really involved and didn't like it, and maybe voiced their opinion and said, "I'm out of here. I'm not playing on this team." So,
true.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next couple of years, but I can't see those guys going anywhere.
No,
I really can't. It'd be too hard for them to do. So.
I mean, and how does the home team? I mean, I'd like to see them at home. I mean, are the fans cheering for them? When Altuve comes up, are they cheering for him? No one he cheated?
I think so.
Well, they won there. So of course.
But I'm saying, now that they've been found guilty of it, and you're playing at home, last year there was no fans. So now when you're playing in front of fans, I wonder, how are they treating? Are they still selling his jerseys and stuff? Are people still buying them?
I would imagine. I mean, you think back to before that dynasty came. Well, I call it a dynasty, but I mean they've been a top team for what,
a while now,
5-6 years now.
Yeah.
But if you remember before that, which caused them to design this team and build this team, they lost over 100 games 3 years in a row, which is hard to do. Like probably have to cheat to do that. Really, I mean, it's hard to lose 100 games 3 consecutive years. So, but got them the first pick in the draft, which got them Correa, which got them Bregman. They've got they still have extreme depth of pitching coming up in the minors because of how well they how high of a draft pick they had for so many years. So, I don't know. I can't imagine after years and years of being absolutely terrible. I don't think Houston cares. I think they've got the ring and that's all they care about. Like, what are you going to do?
I wish they would have ripped his jersey off on national TV, and you would have saw the wires on his chest and on his shoulder, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been.
I mean, the guy interviewed him on the field immediately and asked him the question that he should have asked him. Oh, I was shy. My wife doesn't like when I rip my shirt off. No, wrong answer, pal. Your whole team's out here with no shirts on. You ran in and put a T-shirt on? No, I don't buy it. But everybody knew it. Everyone knew it. Chapman knew it when he threw the pitch and he hit it, and the interviewer knew it on the field and asked him about it. So they should have stopped it before that. But
they should have. All right. Well, I think that was a pretty good discussion.
Yeah.
Overall, it was fun. Yeah. So, guys, thank you again for joining us. And
that's right, Donnie Brasco. That's right.
I love it. Yeah. Just I'm not taking my boot off.
That's right. That's right. Who won the war? What war?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
What a movie.
That's
anyway.
great.
All right, so yeah, guys, if you're joining us and you haven't subscribed, like I said, our non-subscriber rate is still extremely high. 60-70% of our views are coming from non-subscribers. So for all you guys that are with us each and every week, we love you guys, and the support is outstanding.
Yep.
Love having you guys here each and every week. But if you're not, like I said, we've got 60-70% of the viewers not subscribing. So please, if you're one of them, change that. Let's reverse that percentage. I'd love to see a 20% not subscribed. That would be outstanding. So hit that subscribe button. We're still pushing upwards, but we'll do this every single week. So we'll be back on Monday to talk about some football, see what's going on. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. Everything's kind of in a lull. I will say, keep an eye out because I apologize for my terrible computer, but I am working on trying to put together a highlight reel of draft night. So once I get that done and my computer decides to be cooperative, I will get that up because we had some awesome segments. We had some awesome interviews, and watching this thing back again, I find myself laughing hysterically at some of the stuff that was said and going on. And I will say that I am putting extra emphasis on John's reactions from the build up to the pick of Mac Jones.
That's great.
There is so much comedy gold in the build up to pick 15. You guys are going to love it. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try and get that out by tomorrow, if not into the weekend. But
that's too funny.
Keep an eye out. You're going to enjoy it. So until then, please have a safe and happy weekend, and we will see you guys again on Monday. So for John, for Jim, I'm Jim.